doesn't bring money. And why, waste time with that? That's how they are looking at it. But by the referrals that we did to diagnostic imaging and by showing that how many of those clinic patients were getting procedures, we were able to keep it. And so DR mainly focused on reading films. IR should be focused on seeing more patients. To do the kind of bringing patients into the hospital system is something that within radiology, only IRs do. And that's an important component. You can be an ancillary service or a clinical service. Clinical service is valuable to the hospitals. If you show that you're bringing patients into the system, you will also get more support from the hospital. But if you're masked under the DR and then you're not able to show that benefit of IR to the hospital, then you're less likely to get the resources you need. And then to be able to bring patients, you have to have a clinic. You can't bring patients without having a clinic. And imagine you're going to have a complex procedure by an IR, you don't see the doctor's face. That's kind of beyond my comprehension. And then having said that, that's how I was trained at Rochester, which is sad, but that's the reality. So first thing is to create a consult service, and then we volunteer to solve any problems, but ask for resources when doing that. And without the resources, you can't take on everything. Currently, we see over 4,000 consults as an inpatient and 4,200 outpatient clinic patients. Approximately 800 of those patients are new referrals. Every faculty that I have has at least half a day per week clinic time where they develop their practice. Each faculty covers 1 to 2 dedicated rooms. IR admits our own patients to ICU as well as the regular beds, but also to ICU. I think we're the only IR program in the US that admits our own patients into the ICU. We have an overnight resident and an additional pager on-call resident to cover all the call and inpatient care. As of today, we have one major medical center with 800 beds and a second small hospital. We do 35, 45 cases a day, running 6, 7 rooms simultaneously, plus the additional room. These are all done with 8 faculty, 24 residents, and 2 independent residents, 4 APPs, and 3 research coordinators. We're running a very strong research program as well, currently 8 or 9 active clinical trials in our program. We have 1 more resident spot and 1 more attending approved starting July 2026. This is our team, and I'm very proud of them. The things that we do is like, you can't really count. Pretty much every organ system, the number of procedures that we do are so vast nowadays, if you have the resources, space, and the people to do them. In the United States, interventional radiology has become a specialty. It's a 6-year program right now. Out of that 6 year, 32 months is diagnostic radiology training, and 24 to 30 months is interventional radiology training. And the additional months are surgical, ICU, etc., more clinical rotations to kind of make them stronger for patient care. And so just an example of what we do, a very quick case. This was probably one of the most emotional cases in my career. Severe swelling on a patient with McCune-Albright. Attempted sharp recanalization twice, failed, and we ended up doing a percutaneous femoral to femoral bypass on this patient. I'm not going to go into too much detail of it, but this is a femoral vein access. We did a suprapubic incision, patient's right side was patent, and there was a collateral drainage to the right from the left. You can see the left occlusion over there. And we kind of made a tiny incision in the suprapubic area, put snares into each side, and then stuck them and connected both of them by pulling the wires out and then reloading it from the other side. Long story short, this is kind of our final picture after putting a wire bond stent from one side into the other one. And it was a long procedure, took about 2 hours, but this is our final at the end. And so we didn't know if this was going to stay patent or not. It did stay patent for 8 years. I had to license it once,
She stopped her commitment for a procedure, so we had to do that license once. I had an 8-year follow-up. She's 10 years out right now, and doing great. Her agony went away. So these are things that we can do. There's no limit as long as you have the imagination. And I think more and more you have seen earlier on interesting procedures in the portal system throughout the body that we can do. So in my opinion, like IR work started pretty much with the DR in 1896. The other transformed us into a therapeutic specialty. Transformation took 30, 40 years to complete, but IR should recognize that becoming clinical doctors is inevitable, not only to provide better care, but also to grow our practices and to prevent suboptimal practice that's provided to some patients. And all these subspecialties came from IR. Despite creating this many subspecialties, we are still an extremely growing, fast-growing, strong field. And I was told by my chief that our field may die in early 2000s. Instead of dying, right now what we do is like 90% of what we do wasn't done at that time. So there's no limit to what we can do. And I think, in my view, IR training is important because we get trained in the fundamentals and how to do things a lot better than other specialists. If we add the clinical care on top of that, I don't think we should have turf issues. But if we stay away from clinical, that's always a problem. In conclusion, I understand that each institution and even country has different dynamics, resources, politics. IR stands in a different way in every environment, but we're still a new specialty, and just by nature of being minimally invasive, we have a significant potential to grow. And but our growth will be dependent on the infrastructure, especially clinical staffing, subspecialization. And to subspecialize, we need to be supported by radiology if we're working with radiology. But if radiology is not supporting IR, then IR needs to be a department of its own. Thank you very much.